Mike, it's Ross. How you doing, buddy?
I'm giving you the silent treatment right now for what you said about my looks.
For saying that you're not a top five. Mike, do you think you are a top five person in the world in terms of looks for men?
When you put it that way, actually, I can't be mad at you. You're absolutely right. I am not a top five guy.
Yes, I'm not either. I don't know who I was talking about. I wish I knew. By the way, Mike, I always want to pronounce your last name like the actress who's in she's in so many different movies. Yeah, Janine Garafolo. But what's the movie where they're at? No, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out while I ask you a football question.
What was it? Wait, was it? What's the cats and dogs movie?
No, what I'm talking about, Jim Carrey, I think, was in it. She's
Cable Guy.
Cable Guy.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't give him a fork or a spoon.
Yeah, she said there were no utensils in medieval times, hence there are no utensils at medieval times.
Right.
And then she offers him would you like something to drink, water, beer, Diet Pepsi. He's like, oh, so they didn't have utensils, but they had Diet Pepsi.
I love that. That is one of my favorite. And then she's like, I just work here, dude.
Yeah,
all right?
she's like, dude, come on.
I just work here. So, for clarity's sake, I've been pronouncing it right, correct? Garafolo?
Well, you've been pronouncing it right as we pronounce it, but actually the traditional pronunciation, the European pronunciation would be Garofalo. But, you take things, you switch letters around, you Americanize it. We accent different syllables over here. Now we're getting into word etymology, which is probably not what people want to hear, but when you Americanize it. So you said it right the American way, but really the true way to say it is Garofalo, the way they say it over in Italy.
Got it. Kind of like Janine Garoppolo.
There you go. She's got it right.
So either way is actually correct.
Either way is everybody's right. Everybody gets a prize. Everybody wins.
I like
it's
it.
Soccer event.
You know who doesn't get a prize is Josh Gordon.
There you go.
How about that segue right there? I'm really getting good at this. I got to pat myself on the back. What do we know? Give me the latest. You're the one that broke the story yesterday. What exactly happened and when?
Yeah, well, look, it's when you get to the point where you're suspended for a year, and a couple of guys have fallen into that recently. Josh Gordon, Justin Blackmon, Darrell Washington, these kinds of suspensions where we say, oh, guys suspended for a year, but really it's suspended for a year minimum, and then the commissioner has to reinstate you. So he's in this mode where he's trying to get reinstated. There's a supposed 60-day window. It had been extended. Nobody knew why, and I was able to discover that there was this, failed test. Now, I sort of use the word failed loosely a little bit because it's not like, oh, the threshold for marijuana is 35 nanograms per milliliter, and he was at 70. It was actually a lot lower, but it was diluted. And when you have a diluted sample, Ross, that counts as a failed test according to the NFL substance abuse policy. Now, the one thing that people have been asking me the most the last day is, well, hold on, he's in this, suspended, needs to be reinstated, but he failed the test. So why are you saying that there's a chance that he's going to play this year? And I think there's a couple of reasons here. Now, this is the point where I'm starting to read the tea leaves and speculate on my own. A couple of things. One, we've had guys suspended for much worse and have been back on the field sooner than Josh Gordon has recently. And who I'm talking about, the guys with the off-field incidents. So I think the NFL is a little bit sensitive to that. And two, I think that this speaks to the fact that Gordon's been pretty good for the last year. And it's when you get suspended, it's not like you disappear for a year, you come back and the NFL goes, oh, hey, how did your year go? They've been tracking him the whole way. They've been testing him the whole way. So I do believe the fact that they're still keeping him alive right now tells you that he's actually done a pretty good job over the last year, and they may be willing to look past this one misstep here.
But that's what I don't understand, Mike, because every other aspect of the policy, it's pretty cut and dry. The first time you fail it, you're suspended this many games. The second time, it's this many games. So with him being suspended for a year and he tests positive again, is that not written in the policy anywhere that, okay, when you're suspended for a year and you test positive again, it's automatically another year? There's reports out now that all they want him to do is really just, if he just stays clean the next 2 or 3 months, we'll let him play this year. I'm totally confused.
Well, you know what? I was confused myself. And when I was reporting this story, it's so funny. I saw some stuff yesterday speculating that, it's funny that this came out on the same day that the report was out that he was living with Johnny Manziel. And I'm thinking, I've been working on this since Friday. And part of what I was working on was trying to clarify, okay, well, when you're suspended a year, there's nothing in the policy that says, okay, you test positive, you're gone for another year. Like you said, I mean, that was my initial thought was, oh, God, he tested positive, he's going to be done for another year. But as I was checking this out and talking to people and reading the policy myself, to illustrate my point, let me go back. So when Blackman and Washington got suspended for a year, or a year minimum, and then we never really heard about that. Every now and then you'd hear about him via a reporter who said, hey, I asked Dave Caldwell with the Jaguars or Steve Kine with the Cardinals, what's the latest on Blackman or Washington? And they said, well, status quo. Because the NFL doesn't make announcements along the way. Once a guy's suspended and in this year-plus mode, they won't say, NFL spokesman says this guy failed the test and he's suspended for another year, because he's in that commissioner discretion period. So you don't ever hear about these things. You don't ever hear about, Justin Blackman failed another test. It's just a matter of a reporter kind of checking in. So with Gordon, there was no announcement to be had here because, again, he's in that period of, when he fails a test, the commissioner he has the discretion how he wants to handle it. Now, if you continue to fail tests and continue to show that you're not going to straighten yourself out here as far as the rules are concerned, then they're not going to reinstate you. But it's in that period where there's no protocol for, okay, this triggers that, this triggers this, and there's no announcement. So that's why he's kind of in that mode there. I know, it's a lot of gray area. I get it. And we're used to a league where there's a lot of rules and a lot of this happens and then boom, this happens. But he's in that gray area right mode, and that's why.
Yeah, it does seem, though, Mike, like with every passing year, the NFL is kind of making this stuff up a little bit more as they go, and that they're a little bit more flexible. We're talking with Mike Garafolo of FS1, or as we say in the old country, Garafolo. You know what I mean? So I got both pronunciations in there. Mike, did you see he's the one that broke the story, by the way, about Josh Gordon testing positive. Did you see the Johnny Manziel TMZ video?
Yeah, I've seen which one? I've seen a couple of them now.
No, the one where he says he's living with Von Miller. He admits that he's been to the same bar 5 or 6 nights in a row. I should not be laughing about that, I don't think, but that goes back to my whole sensitive thing. Anyway, is there, just watching that video, my gut tells me there's no shot that he gets signed by a team this year. What are you hearing, thinking, whatever?
Your gut and the gut of many people in the league, and some people in his circle that I've been talking to. I was just talking to an NFL GM about something unrelated on, I guess that was Saturday night, and I brought up Manziel for whatever reason, and he said, dude, I think it's done. I think he's done right now. And it's just speculation. I mean, the other kid could turn himself around, but on a number of fronts right now for Manziel, it doesn't look real good. And I've had people close to him who say, he can't stop. And we keep telling him, you need to stop. You need to turn this thing around for your career's sake, for your health's sake, and he just can't. And he's just continuing to go out there and party. And I'm not saying that you can't go out and enjoy yourself, but when you've got your agent has fired you, or terminated his relationship with you and been publicly announced it, and your father is out there saying he's concerned for your safety, doesn't think you're going to survive if you don't get some help, and you continue to do these things, I think that speaks a lot to the people around the league. And he was good. He was good in spurts with the Browns, but it's not like he lit the world on fire. So it's not like people are saying, compare it to Josh Gordon, who led the league in receiving in 2013. And you've got Manziel, who, again, at times has shown it. It's not like people are clamoring for the chance to get this guy. Oh, we can straighten him out at this point. So I think it's very bleak right now. I also believe that there will be a suspension coming for him in some form or fashion. I've mentioned that the NFL has been watching Manziel on multiple fronts recently. And if he avoids any suspension for anything at all, I will be very, very surprised, Ross.
Wow. Another suspension, this one potentially for Johnny Manziel. Mike, great stuff. Good job breaking that story yesterday and breaking it down here on the Dan Patrick Show. Thanks so much.
You got it, handsome.
Nice.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.